Guys, this is Goku Black. I'm at Showmaster of a brand new video. Today we are doing It's Night still. If you guys did not see my what if Deku had these card abilities, I'm sorry if it was so long I didn't edit it because I didn't really want to because I want to keep all that though. And I'm a terrible editor though. So like this is where Deku has the ability of SCP-682. I saw another person did this. And I'm glad they did this, but they missed some things. They didn't make any details in it. And I'm not making this character really bad though. Here is it. Here's this guy's YouTube channel right here. I'll show you it. I was watching it. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit because I don't want my folks to wear it up. Now he did an amazing job though, making everyone scared of SB, Deku, stuff like that. So like this is my version of it. I'm not taking anything from him. And here we go. So, this one is where Deku lives in the forest. And then, he's scouting for food. He sometimes goes to the beach at, night, though, hunts for fish, though. And then, nobody notices because, he's really quick, though. And, he's really big, though. And then, wherever he eats, he gets bigger. So this is how it's gonna work. So if he eats meat, he gets the size of, he gets taller. It's, stronger, stuff like that. And then, people say there's local legends of this monster that eats people. But it isn't true he eats people. Because he ain't a cannibal. And then, Deku is, he's technically not, a human, but he's, SCP plus a human equals this. So, he gets all the abilities of SCP-682, can't be hypnotized, can't be mind controlled, he can regenerate immediately, doesn't need organs, he can live forever, he can't die, he can choose, shapeshift, all that SCP stuff. And, Giant Deku, where leaves he connected to though, what's happening makes a little robot film, and then he would do that, and he would hear a loud bang though, because he's not that deep in the woods, but he can still hear it because he has big ears and he hears it. So then he walks there, and then he sees a fire. And then he sees Bakugo getting stuck into the mist guy, the sludge villain. So sorry. He grabs the sludge villain and get him off of Bakugo, takes Bakugo and places him down nicely. But everyone's scared of this guy. He doesn't even know who this kid is though. Everyone's staring at him though. Everyone's saying monster, and then he's not saying anything. So then he gets the sludge villain and grabs we're giving him this one power though, he can heat up his hands though. So he grabs a lot of sand off the beach, makes it into glass, and then puts him in there and gets his other hand, put it in glass though. And then he makes a jar, and then he sets down, and then he says, "I'm not a monster." And then he goes back into the forest before Bakugo says, "Hey, you." And he said, "Yeah." And he says, "You're a effing monster and nobody asked you, though." And then, he goes back in there. He's not sad or mad. He just said, "I really don't give a F, though." So then All Might sees that. So he goes in the forest. And then, news teams try to, find him, though. But they can't. So, All Might's out there in the forest, at night. He finally finds Deku, and then he sees him eating, though, and, training, though, and, games fighting, and then he sees him, and then, Deku says, "Hello there, what are you doing here?" And he says, "Well, I'm the #1 hero," and then Deku says, "I really don't care if you're the #1 hero, though." and all you humans are the same. And then he says, what do you mean? So he tells him his backstory, though. So, like, he was, like, SCP's child, though, SCP-662 child. So then he tells him all these bad people continuously testing on him, though, like, shocking him, and all that stuff, though. So that's why he hated humans. But then he saw how humans have powers, so then they thought he would get accepted, and then everyone was, like, trying to hunt him down and, like, kill him or something like that. So, like, they try to do that. So All Might's, like, terrified and stuff like that. So then he says, well, let's make a deal, though. I'll let you into UA if you stay there, train, and all that stuff, and you get a roof on top of your head. And he says, where are your mom and dad? And he says, I really don't have a mom or dad. And then, like, technically his only family member is SCP-682, and he's somewhere in the country, USA, or somewhere, like, in a bunker, in an acid thing, though. And then, like, stuff like that. So, like, he gets, All Might asks him, well, what's your power, though? And then he tells him all of it in this, like, all the beginning. And he tells him, and then All Might's really startled because the kid has flesh running down him. Because when the fire was still doing it, though, some of his flesh is still, like, hanging there. And it's, like, regenerating. And then All Might tells the kid, hey, what happened to that flesh stone? He says, oh, I didn't even notice. So then he regenerates it instantly. And then All Might's impressed, though, and saying, does your... I have a huge favor to ask, but he says, what? And then he says, does your blood heal people? And he says, I'm sorry, no. But then All Might says, okay. And Deku asks, why do you ask that? And he said, well, I have this big bruise there and stuff. And he tells him, well, I know one of my friends, when I was in that weird place with all those bad people, I met others just like me, though. Now, he's talking about one of these SCPs that can heal you, the red orb thing. And he says, well, this bear, called the Build-A-Bear, they call it, though, he can get any organ that's been gone from somebody and just immediately have it and, like, put it into you. And it's not, like, old, it's fresh. I don't even know how they do it. And then he's surprised. But then, any information Deku tells him about SCPs, it's all gibberish. He's speaking a different language All Might doesn't know because they're in Japanese. He's speaking to, like, some other language, and then when he tries to talk about it, and then All Might says, what are you talking about, kid? And then he can't understand them. And he says, never mind. So then, All Might says, come with me, kid, and he does so. So, like, he gets his robe of leaves, though, and All Might says, you'll need that, and then he says, why? And then he says, well, you're coming to this big school that's really hard for people to get in. And he says, okay, then. But, like, Deku still has, like, Deku has all this flesh running down him, though. So, like, some of the flesh cannot regenerate because it's, like, when he was still a human, the flesh cannot regenerate anymore. So, like, he still has some flesh, some scars. He would have, like, Deku. He would have some scars like Deku. Like, everyone knows if you search up Deku, then Nomu. You would get, wait. You would get this, see? So he has all these scars on him when he was human. He can't regenerate them that much. So then he does that, and then, like, all that, and then, like, he sees all these kids, because, UA already started, though, everyone's in, and then they see this kid, though, and then everyone starts staring at him, and then Deku says, why are all those kids staring at me, and says, don't mind them, and then he goes to the principal, Nezu, the little rat guy, or mice. Really don't know how to call them. If I assumed, I'm so sorry. But like he who's that kid though whacked him, and he says I found him in the woods. You know that big giant guy who defeated that sludge villain. He says yeah, and then he says that's the kid, and he said no way, because if Deku doesn't eat that much, he's gonna get smaller. So Deku can become the size of an ant, and he can become the size of the size of universe if he wanted to, if he eats a lot. And then he can eat anything he wants, but he mostly eats meat though to increase it. So Deku wouldn't know any table manners. He would just eat though really fast. And then Nezu says, well, come with me though, I'm gonna tell you to your room. He gives him the uniform, stuff like that. He tells him what class he's gonna be in, class 1A. So he walks from there, then Deku shakes his hand, says thanks. And then Nezu says, no, welcome. And then everyone sees him, even the teacher says, great stack. And everyone's staring at him, and he said, everyone's staring at him, and then he goes to the seat in the back. Everyone starts staring at him, and he sees Bakugo, Ida, Ochaku, all those people, even Mineta. And then, the teacher says, well, you're gonna let's all go outside though, and he does though. Then they test out, Deku, so it's Ochaka first. So he says, before he says, any of you screw up, any of you don't try your best, he says, you're gonna get expelled, who's gonna be the last on the score. And Deku doesn't understand what that means, because he hasn't learned that much English, but he's smart though. And then he figures out really quickly, and he says, oh, in his head. And then he's super strong, he's super strong. If he wanted to, he can just he can pick up let's check see, in his small form, his normal earth form, his human form, he can pick up an entire building. No, not an entire building, an entire apartment and stuff like that. So then he goes and stuff. So then they tell Ochako go first. She does. It gets infinity. Deku goes second, and then they start staring at him though, because they see all the marks on him. And then everyone asks what happened to you, and he said, he just said I was just hunting. And then everyone doesn't buy that though, but they just don't want to ask anymore. So then Deku throws it, and then the ball, this might sound crazy, but the ball opens a portal, and then Mr. Aizawa says, is that your quirk? And he says, no, that's not mine though. I don't even know how that happened. And then he throws the ball and he says, do that again, but with not your quirk. And he doesn't have a quirk. His quirk is always on. He doesn't even have one. So he throws it again, the portal opens again. Now you're gonna ask, why is this happening? Well, when this guy throws a ball, when he's throwing a ball though, now when he throws it, a portal opens, and then it always, cause how he's throwing it so fast, it's breaking realities. And then he says, oh, I know how this is happening though. And then he tells him everything about his powers and stuff like that. Then everyone's horrified because they know who this kid is though, because they see him on the news. And then Mr. Aizawa says, well, you get infinity too, because we can't track that crap, because it's in a different reality. So then Bakugo goes next, and he's really mad because that kid got infinity too. And then everyone's staring at him, they'll talk to him, and Deku's talking. And then Mr. Aizawa says, everyone shut up before I expel you. And then everyone shuts up. And then Bakugo throws it, and then it burns up. And it goes about it goes really far. It burns up a few. It takes some. It takes 3 minutes to burn up, but it goes really far. Mr. Aizawa says you get so minutes, and then everyone's finished up. then Aizawa says the last person that was on there was Mineta, but they say you're not getting suspended, and then everyone just gets really shocked. But Deku knows, and another person knows though, the person that has creation quirk, and then like they do the next one's racing, so Deku is like really fast because he has like a little salt packet, like a salt bottle, or like a meatball though, say like that. So he eats some of the meat though, he becomes like giant though, and then everyone looking at him. It's like each time he gets giant, he gets spikes on his arm though. So like he gets spikes though, he like some wings form on his back though, a little bit, but not like really big, or they're like really small, he can't use them. So then he starts running, and then like he gets there about like in 15 seconds though. Ochaka gets there like 45 seconds and stuff like that. Then they take his testing, but then Deku aces it because he's smart as hell. Like he's the smartest thing in the multiverse technically. And so then Mr. Aizawa tells them, well, we're skipping your next class because the guy with the boombox thing, he's sick. So like aim at his class, you immediately skip to the next class. So like now they're doing 0-point robots. So then they tell them, well, you need to make they give them 15 seconds. They give them the next day, it's the thing. So then Mr. Aizawa tells them, go back to your dorms, and then he tells them, you got the whole day to make your own costumes and submit them and give them to me. So then they do. Deku makes like this cool like Wolverine suit though. He makes like spikes on it, like a wolf's mask though, and stuff like that. And then like weird tail, because like in SCP-0682 has a tail, so he's gonna grow when somebody eats meat and stuff, and then like he gives it to him, and then Mr. Aizawa tells him, well, kid, you trying that funny business, you're getting expelled immediately. And Mr. Aizawa, out of his own character, calls him a monster, and then Deku tells him, I'm not a monster though. And he says, well, you don't know proper etiquette, you have a weird quirk, you don't die, you can eat though, but like, you really don't need to, that makes you a monster. And then Deku starts crying though. And then like Mr. Aizawa says, what the heck happened, kid? And they said, so like some kid pulled a prank on Mr. Aizawa and he didn't realize it. And then like so this kid has a quirk that lets him, when he touches somebody, he can tell them what to do for like, they can only say one sentence though. So then he tells them, and they say, kids, what's happening though? You call me a monster and stuff. And he said, I didn't call you that. And then Deku has the ability to rewind time, so he does that, and he hears what he said though. And then he says, sorry kid, and stuff like that. And then he sees a kid in the hall who uses quirk though. And he knows that kid is, because Mr. Aizawa said, I'm gonna get that kid suspended. Expelled actually. And then the kid does, but then like Deku's still working on Storm though, and then Ochako sees Deku crying though, he says, what happened? And then he says nothing, and then like everyone's looking at each other's dorms though, but like Deku's dorms, like it's mostly just barren. It's just like a computer, a bed, some meat, and like all of his like trophies and stuff like that. And then everyone walks in his room and say, wow, you have a lot of heads of animal skulls. And then he says, yeah, there's one when I was in the woods though. He has a bear head though, of skull. It's like a collection of skulls though. So then everyone sees a chocolate room, it's like pretty and stuff like that. Everyone asks though, like, why the heck do you have all those scars? So then, like, Ochaka's sitting on her bed, everyone's sitting on the floor, even Deku, and then he tells them how he got all these scars. So then everyone's like, he gives them a different story, like the bear attacks and stuff, and like, people continuously shooting me and stuff like that. So like, there's this kid in my school that, cause I remembered, so like I woke up so like I was like collecting all this stuff though, making my home. He made a cave. Bears like tried to get in, so he like killed them though. And like he used to actually eat humans. And then everyone's terrified by him. And then like nobody wants to talk to him, and then they say, well, everyone, let's go then. And then like nobody's gonna talk to Deku anymore because they figured out he ate a human. And then like nobody's gonna tell anyway because he's actually trying to make a second chance. And then Ochako looks at him and says, did you actually eat human? And then he actually says, yeah, because he tried to kill me. And then she says, still, you shouldn't have done that though. And then he can read people's minds, so he reads everyone's mind though. And everyone thinks Deku's a monster. So then he goes back to his dorm, and then this is the strange part though. And this way, if Deku becomes 682, and he becomes evil. So like, this is the part he turns evil though. So like a black portal opens, Toga comes out of the portal, and then Deku's scared because he said, who the heck are you though? And then she says, well, I'm Toga though, and then she shakes Deku's hand. And then she says, well, we need you though for like a little club thing. And he's thinking though, and then Toga actually shoots him with like a blow dart that could make him go to sleep. So then he does. And then he's wake up to like a little cage though. And then like Shigaraki, Toga, Twice, like all those villains come and they're seeing Deku, and then like they say, what are we doing with that kid? And then Toga says, well, I want his blood though. And then like he so he's reading all their minds though, and then like he's seeing what they want to do with him. Like Shigaraki wants just like hold him for ransom. Toga wants to like stab him and make him to like a little puppet though. The guy with the portal, he just doesn't really think of anything though. And then like there's this one villain trying to mind control him. He wanted to think it worked though, and then like he's like a little puppet. And then he thinks he has him controlled though, and then he asks him what's his quirk though, and he tells him, and then like Toga tries to steal some blood. It works, but the blood actually turns into acid though, and then the guy who's mind controlling him, but actually is not doing anything, he asks what the heck happened. He tells him about his quirk though, only if he wants people to let him take blood, and he says, what led her to, and then she does, and then like she transforms to him, and then she tells Deku everything, but the portal, it's gone. But then like somebody tries to go into Deku's room, they say Deku's somewhere else, and then they say, wait, I didn't see him at the cafeteria, I didn't see him anywhere. Because, like, on the first day, they're skipping cafeteria. Deku immediately skips lunch. So then none of the teachers saw him, though. Like, it's okay if you skip lunch once, though. So then, like, Deku still has those salt packets on him. And then, like, he eats some salt, though, the meat, and then he becomes, like, really giant. And they say, I thought I had you under my mind control. He said, you thought wrong. And then he actually doesn't eat them. He just runs away. But then Toga has like a little tracker on him. And then like he didn't want to tell anybody because then they wouldn't believe him. So like he's still at UA though and stuff. And then everyone asked him where it was. He just said, I was in the bathroom. No, he was like saying, I was in the woods hunting for my food, and then they told him, you don't need to do that anymore, and he says, okay, and then, like, he eats human food. He must have been eating our stuff, and then he really doesn't know proper etiquette, though, and it's, like, only 5 minutes left of lunch, so, like, he scarfs down all this food that everyone's staring at him, and then, like, he becomes, he grows a tail, big wings, his teeth get sharper, and then he can, like, force it back, but, like, it's really hard for him, and it actually hurts him a little bit. But, like, he does, and, like, they can only see a little small wings, though, and stuff like that. So, that's it. And, like, Toga sees, Toga has shapeshifts into one of the students, because she killed one of the students, and shapeshifts into them. So Deku's at a lone table by himself, though, and then, like, nobody wants to sit by him because nobody wants to talk to him because he looks scary, though, like a monster. But a person sits by him. That's actually Toga, and then she turns into a girl, though, like a different girl, though, and then she says, "Hello, my name is Rico, Tomoro, Kakashi, my name's Tsunade," and then Deku says, "Hey, Tsunade," though, and then she says, "Hey, why is nobody staying with us anyway?" And I said, "I really don't know, though. Everyone must think I'm a monster," and then, like, it's almost like after lunch that they do in their class, but they have to skip that one because there's bugs in there. I'm just kidding you up, though. So they can't really do his class because he's sick and there's a lot of bugs. So, like, they're doing All Mights, but then, like, All Might tells Deku to come up to the front, though, and then he does, and then All Might tells him about what happened, stuff like that. Then everyone's staring at him, though, and then he goes back. But then one kid trips him, though, and then they call him a monster. And it's that exact same kid that hypnotized Mr. Aizawa. And then All Might says, "Kid, why you did that?" And I said, "Well, his quirk's like a villain quirk, though, and he's like a monster." And then, Deku gets really mad. But he actually does something. He actually grows his tail back. And, like, actually, grabs the kid's arm and yanks it back on the ground. He, like, pulls him on the ground, though, but not stabbing it or, like, hurting him. He just said, Deku said, "Don't try that again, kid." And then, like, everyone's staring at him now, but, like, his tail, like, he can use his tail as a lot of things, right with, like, fight with, stuff like that. And stuff. And, like, he's like, he does the ramp. All Might gives them, like, All Might tells them to write about their quirks, though, their age. Now, Deku doesn't know his age because he can't technically die. And, like, they just say he's around, like, 15. He says he's around about, like, 15 years old, though. And then All Might tells that kid and Deku to stay after class, and then they do. And then Deku tells him he should not did that, though. And that kid who, pulled a prank on Aizawa, he's not there because Aizawa pulled him out and said, "You try to fucking hypnotize me and do all that bullshit." So then, so you're gonna get expelled if you do that one more time. And then the kid says, "Okay." And then, like, All Might tells him, "You shouldn't have did that, though." And then Deku tells him what happened, though, and he tells him actually some stuff All Might did not know, and he's told him that a guy with a shotgun, like, this guy, when that, like, he heard there was a monster in the woods, so, like, he tried to kill me, so I bit off his arm, though, and then, like, the guy got his gun again and tried to shoot me, So, like, I bit off his arm again, and then, like, the guy tried to charge at me, and I didn't know about really honoring killing, though. So that means he tells him, and then All Might's a little scared, but he still says, well, that's the past, though, you shouldn't, and that's the past, though. So then, everyone else from Class 1A is not class exactly with Deku. So, like, so, like, now it's night, and, like, that tracker's still in Deku. And then, like, a portal opens up again. Sorry. A portal opens up again, but this time it's Toga again, and then she says, oh, it's one of my little pets, though, and then he says, what do you mean? Like, never mind, he's asleep, though, and, like, he's sleeping. Like, he really doesn't need sleep, but, like, Toga puts this collar on him, like, it's really small, like, it can camouflage into, like, his skin, so then she does, and then she's out of there, and then, like, the next day, they are doing the, 0-point robot stuff, though, so they do that, and then, like, it's really crazy, so Deku eats rock, though, and everyone's, like, saying, why the heck is that kid eating rock, though? And then they didn't know, this kid did not know that kid had the power of, like, all that stuff. And then they say, cool. And then that exact same kid said, that's a villain quirk anyway. He won't even he'll get expelled anyway. And so, like, he, sort of, like, Deku fights all those robots, though. And then he sees that 0-point robot, and then he says, screw it, and he eats, like, an entire building, because he's so massive. Like, he eats it one by one, he gets gianter, then he eats the whole entire building, and then he's gianter than the 0-point robot. So then, he grabs the 0-point robot by, like, he squishes it, like you guys can see now, he's squishing it, though, and condensing it into a little ball, and then he eats it. But then he hears Ochaku scared, though, so then he, like forces himself to go back in a little smaller form, but not that small, so then he picks up all the rubble, gets Ochaku out of there, and then, like, if time's up, so, like, wait, never mind, I skipped some stuff, so sorry, but, like, Deku's costume, everyone sees him, so sorry, Deku's costume's really, like, really weird, though. Everyone stares at him, and, like, he actually has, like, he actually has a meat, and then all that stuff I told you is going to continue on. So, like, Ochaku speaks to Deku and said, sorry about earlier the other day. He says, there's no problem. But, like, he tells him, I've been a lot itchy, though, and then, like, the color would actually just, like, phase out, though. So that means Deku couldn't realize it, though, and then, phase back in. And then she says, maybe if you just try to wash yourself, though, and then, like, Deku never baits, so, like, he's smelly, though, and stuff like that. Sorry. He's smelly, all that stuff, so then, all that stuff I told you before. So now, he's like, he gets, 100 points, he gets, like, about, so for each, they changed up the score now, so, like, for each point, for a robot, it's 20, the 0-point robot was actually 1,000 points now, so they call it a 1,000-point robot. So now, Deku gets 1,000 points, plus the 50 hero points he gets, so Deku gets first place, Bakugo gets third, Chaco gets, like, second place with, like, 300 points, and Bakugo gets, like, 250. The ice guy and the fire guy gets, like, 150. Everyone else gets slower and stuff like that. And then everyone's, actually being nice to Deku now because he saved Chaco's life. And then, everyone's saying with him, though. But that weird girl he saw before at that table where he was not sitting, he, wasn't there. So now, he says there was this weird girl though called what was her name? Naruto? Tsunade, and then they say we don't know any Tsunades, and then he's just passed over. So then he says he's still scratching a lot. So then they ask why you just don't take off your chunk off your flesh and your the skin will regenerate. It's not like different like that. Like any itches they'll just come back immediately. And then they tell them, and then everyone's like, he has a notebook of all their powers though, and like, Deku's writing down each one's power and he's drawing them though. And then they ask, why are you drawing? And then he shows them. And then like, I was surprised he kept track of all their powers and stuff like that. And like, Osaka was surprised he actually has all like their powers though, and stuff like that. And then he gave them nicknames. So like, Ida we get Engine, Chocolate we get Gravity Girl, Ice and Hot Guy, Ice and Cold, and some others. And then everyone would be surprised because he can write so good, but he was only in the woods. And then like nobody technically got injured because nobody actually got injured. Recovery crew will actually not be there that day because she's actually sick. Because when she tried to so like let's just give recovery girl this though. Like when she tries to cure a disease, she gets a disease. So like you get the flu, she gets the flu now, and you get free. Sorry. So like Deku now he actually has himself in this though. He calls himself the monster, and he has he rates all of his abilities though and all of his weaknesses, but there's no weaknesses though. And then tells one of them, hey, let's after school, let's go to the forest and let's fight. And then one of them say, okay then. So the Hornter class 1A, after school though, they go to that forest where he was living, and then he shows them where he used to live though. And then they say, dang, you actually lived out here for how long? For 15 years or more. And he says, how old are you? And he says, I really don't fucking know. So then he fights that Isaac Height guy though. He told everybody in class 1A to come at me though with everything they got. So then he does. So he remembers these forces, and he has traps everywhere. So then he leads each one of them into a trap. And the trap he uses though, they have these type of ropes. He tells them, well, he still has some old traps somewhere though, and he doesn't know where he uses them. So and he tells them they're full with ants that actually can poison you with stuff. So he fights the Ice Hot guy first. The Ice Hot guy lose. Bakugo he fights, he loses. Bakugo gets so mad that he blows off Deku's head, but he regenerates immediately, and Deku's head's still there though. So he created a copy of himself though, and he says, "Oh, you thought you could actually blow up my head? Yeah, I tried that, right?" When a bear tried to bite off though. And then Bakugo tries to do that again a lot, so he creates hundreds of Dekus, and then all the Dekus say, "Hey boys, what are we supposed to do? Let's have an old assault." They just make a joke I can't reference to because I can't remember it. So they beat up Bakugo though. He blows up all of them except one, and he knows that's the original one because he knows all those other copies are weak as crap. So then he does that. They return back to the school. It's almost dark though, so they return back to the school really quickly. And then everyone goes back to their dorms, and then Deku's that collar he got a portal opens, and then Deku sees Toga, And then he says, why the heck are you here, though? And then he shows him that collar, though. And then, like, he tries to take it off, but it shocks him, though. And he says, what the heck is this, though? I can't get off. And then she says, well, this is a type of mail that can't let you out of it, though. And then she says, I'll take it off if you join us. And he said never. And then he remembers he can just cough his head. But that collar is actually, like, it won't let him cough his head. Because when Bakugo did, it went to this, like, spectator, like, mode. And it's, like, it goes invisible. And it's, like, when it's attacked, though, it's still on him. And then he gets shocked by a lot of lightning, and, like, he's not yelling. And then she actually, like, kicks them, though, on the ground, and then she gets her shoe, though, and, like, forces it on his neck, and says, you say no again, let's shock you again. And then he says, fuck you, you thought. And then she shocks again. And then, like, it's, like, this a lot of time, and, like, his skin's fried up. It's, like, almost on fire. And, like, he still has his tail, though, because it's still grown. So then he gets his tail, grabs on Toga's foot, and then, like, she knows this. So then she gets in their collar, though, and it's, like, immediately, like, you could throw on somebody, immediately grabs onto them, and, like, locks them like this, and, like, won't get off, though. And, like, she gets on his tail, though, and then, like, his tail, like, it won't move at all. It's, like, really heavy. And he says, what the? And then a portal opens up. He's, like, on the side of the wall. And then he says, what the heck is this, though? And he says, well, we have, like, we want you to join us. And then, like, he still told them never. And then, like, he shocks them. He continuously shocking them. Toga continuously shocking them with that controller thing, though. And, like, Deku can take the pain because he's technically immortal. And then, like, Shigaraki, like, has this guy who has the ability of lightning. So then, like, he shocks the collar with it, too. And this is actually hurting him, Deku, though, because he's half human, too. So, like, it's hurting him, and he's dying. So, like, he says, fine, I'll join them. And then, like, Toga throws that collar on him, and calls him his little dog pet. And he says, I'm not your fucking pet. And then he shocks him again, and says, you say it again, and I'll kill you. And, like, she tells him to bark like a dog. He says, I'm not gonna do that. He says, what I said? And then he says, woof, woof. And then, like, he's, like, missing from UA, and then All Might says, All Might tells all the teachers, say, have you seen them, Deku? Deku. And he says, no. And then, like, they say, well, we need to search for him. I'll go into the woods, though, because that's where... And they ask all the students, and then they say, no, we haven't seen him since last day, though. And then, one of the students remembered, the gravity girl, I can't remember her name, sorry. She remembers, Deku was itchy on his neck, and he says it was really itchy, though. And then, like, he was, like, super itchy, like, poison ivy. And then, like, All Might tells him another thing that Deku told him. This old guy tried to, like, put, like, a collar on him, like a shocker. And it, like, he ripped it off, killed the guy, ate him, and stuff. And then, like, they really didn't tell him about killing the guy. And then, like, it's mostly now, like, they're attacking UA, but not the area, though, that dorm thing. So then, a portal opens up at the beginning of the school inside of it, and then, like, a alarms go off. They'll say we have a breach, villains in. So then they locked on the school, there's robots. And then Toa says, you better do what I say, you filthy pet. And he says, I'm not your damn pet though. And then she shocks him again. And then like all those robots are controlled by the cameras in the principal's office. And then he sees Deku suffering. And he says, Code Red, we have a student captured by a villain. And then like Deku gets super mad, so like he becomes like a giant of him. So like he destroys all those robots though. And then Toa says, you better get out of that stupid form before I shock you again. And he tried to attack them, but then Toa shocked him. And then Shigaraki told him the guy who could open portals to send Toa and Deku back. And then they do. And then All Might goes there, Eraserhead, a lot of pro heroes. So they take down them, but like they let them get away because by accident they say, if you kill us, we won't tell you where Deku is. And then they let him go. And then they tell everything. And then back at the layers, back at that bar though, Deku's fighting Toa, but like mostly he's not a fight. He's technically losing because he's getting shocked by that stupid dog collar. And then like he passes out, and like Toa's like actually like kicking him, stabbing him, and like she like changes the dog collar up to like a big one, and like it's full with the serum that actually like it's acid though. And then like he wakes up into a cage again, but this cage blocks off his quirk. So then he tries to bite it though, but it's actually hurting his teeth. And they said, what the fuck is this though? And then he sees Toa and he says, what do you want, you filthy human? And they says, you shut up, you little mutt though. And then she shocks him. And then she says, be a little good dog though. And then like his tail's still there because it's technically not Quirk, but like it's blocking off him from like going giant and stuff like that. Let's just say it is Quirk because I'm not doing that anymore. And then like he is doing he's like they have actually, when he was asleep though, he was like put into a acid tank, ripped apart by muscular, stabbed alive by Toa, mostly like burned alive, and all these scars like you see in this image right here. You see this, some of these scars are actually from burn marks, slash attacks. A lot though, and like some more burns here, slash attacks more. And he's like, when he gets mad, his eyes turn red though. And then he tries to so like when she shocks him though, the cage can immediately electrify. So that, and then we're moving to the heroes again. And then All Might tells the Hornter students that your friend Deku got captured. And then like everyone's not surprised because everyone's actually glad he got captured except Chaku and Bakugo, because they're saying, why the heck are you guys glad though? And all those other girls, and they're saying, why you guys are glad? They say he's a monster though, like that. And then like that kid that called Deku monster like twice though, Mr. Aizawa says, you're expelled now. And then he says, pack all your stuff, you're going home. And he says, I don't care though, that monster deserves it anyway. And then like there's some pro heroes in the classroom. And then like there's like Endeavor, All Might, all those pro heroes. And then like they give a story talking to that kid. But he's not suspended, expelled actually. He's actually just getting actually, like, he's getting a time of his life while those pro heroes beating the shit out of him. Like, it's legal, though, because they're teaching him a lesson. So, like, now, they're like, now it's, like, 3 weeks later, and, like, this is why we're gonna leave off here, but, like, each, like, saves Deku. He won't be like this. Each, like, saves Deku, though. That poor boy. He's getting scratch marks. And could you guys please subscribe to my channel? It's really sad, though. Poor Deku. And goodbye, guys.